Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Mike, for that introduction, which I didn't hear. Of all the introductions I've ever had, that was the most recent. Anyway, it is great to be here this evening in Fremont County and neighbor counties that are here tonight also. It's great to be with you. Let me just acknowledge here Iris Morrison, who is my county chairman here, and so go to her if you want anything from our campaign, and she will be coming to you asking for help. So, but thank you very, very much for doing that. Marilyn Johnson, thank you for your service to the party as far as being the county chair and doing such great work here, and it's very much appreciated. So. It is great to be with you tonight, and if you don't know me, I'm Tom Latham. I am an incumbent member of Congress, but you're not that familiar with me. The reapportionment put Steve King and myself together, and so I decided to move to Des Moines to Clyde, basically to run in this congressional district. I thought it was insane for two Republicans, conservative Republicans, to run against each other. And so I'm looking forward to get better acquainted with everybody here, to meeting more folks. We had the opportunity in very difficult times this last summer to spend quite a bit of time down here on the floods. And I just want to extend my admiration and to everybody that went through such an extraordinarily trying situation and the difficulties that you went through last year. You've done it tremendously, and neighbors helping neighbors and really going through that battle. But I don't know how you could continue as difficult as, and when you have something like that for month after month to deal with, just mentally, to me, it would be very, very difficult to be able to handle it. But congratulations to you and Godspeed, and we'll do everything. I serve on appropriations that funds the Homeland Security, and that's FEMA. Also, I chair the Transportation and HUD Subcommittee on Appropriations, also serve on Ag Appropriations, and so there's a lot of things that we can do to help. And be sure to stay in touch with us, and anything that you need or you have problems, please let us know. This is going to be a year, as far as the election, that I hope you folks share with me how important this is this year. Quite honestly, we all know we've got a president who has been spending money at a record pace. He's put us more in debt in this last over 3 years now than the first 40 presidents did combined. We are about $15.5 trillion in debt today. A lot of it owed to China, places like that. We have a $1.3 trillion annual deficit, and it's just not sustainable going forward. We've got to have people who are responsible in Washington, who will cut spending, who will get a handle on this debt and deficit. So because this is, I will tell you folks, the reason I'm doing this again is because I've got a new grandson born January 4th. And I look at that little baby and to think about that child being $50,000 in debt the second it took its first breath is simply outrageous. And the president's budget says in the next 10 years will be $26 trillion in debt. By that point, it's over. We are Greece owned by China. And we will not have the opportunities for those children, those grandchildren that we had growing up in this great state and in this great nation. Seeing that with the high unemployment, remember back the president talked about with the stimulus bill that if in fact this was signed into law that unemployment would never get above 8%. Well, it's 37 months now, above 8%. And if you look at the underemployed and unemployed, you're talking in the high teens as far as the number of people who are not fully employed or unemployed. And the problem today is, folks, that in small businesses, and we were just visiting earlier here, that any small business person today will tell you is the threat of the taxes going up at the end of this year. It is the regulatory burden that's killing small businesses and farmers out there, like the outrageous regs coming down in agriculture, the youth labor provision that the Labor Department's trying to put on, saying your kids can't work on the farm. Why does a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C., why do they have the authority or the right or any kind of knowledge enough to understand agriculture and make rules to say that your kids can't help you on the farm? Stuff like I've got a bill to prohibit that from happening. But the regulatory burden we have today in this country is killing jobs. The Chamber of Commerce did a survey that about 74% of small businesses today are holding back on hiring because of the health care bill that the President signed into law. 30% of those small businesses are shut off hiring entirely because of the health care bill. And this is what's stymieing the wet blanket over our whole economy today. The fear of what taxes are going to do and new regulations coming down are causing this economy to be in this huge slump, and we're not going to get out of it until we change what's going on in Washington. Until we have new leadership. That's why elections matter. This election is absolutely critical for my little grandson, for your children, grandchildren here. This will be an election of very stark contrast. Now, I don't know how many of you, and you tell me how you would have voted. There was a bill that would have given an unelected bureaucrat $700 billion to bail out Wall Street. How would you have voted? Okay, Leonard Boswell voted yes. I voted no. Okay, there was a stimulus package, which with interest is about $1.1 trillion of cost, that basically was every big government dream funding program, did very, very little, only 3.8% was for highways, roads, or bridges, everything. So it was about construction ready, shovel-ready projects, very small part of it. The rest of it was expansion of federal government. How would you have voted? No. Okay. Leonard Boswell voted yes. I voted no. The cap and trade bill, which is going to really be, if it was ever enacted, and EPA is trying to enact it without it passing into legislation, they're trying to do it by regulation now, closing coal power plants, things like that. But this would cost, according to Mid-American Energy, would raise your utility costs 20 to 25%. How would you have voted? No. Leonard Boswell voted yes, I voted no. And certainly the biggest one, the President's health care bill that is going to ruin quality health care in this country, which is going to cost us a great deal more. It has provided so much uncertainty, huge tax increase, about $800 billion in tax increases in that bill. I have a bureaucrat, there's this unelected panel they call the IPAD, that the President appoints 15 people. There's no judicial oversight, no executive oversight, and no congressional oversight once that panel's put in place. They're going to make your health care decisions for you. So think about that. Who is going to be sitting between you and your doctor? It's going to be somebody on the iPad. And that simply cannot happen. We have got to repeal this bill that's going to kill the best health care in the world. We have ways of making health insurance more affordable to have access without having the government take over 1/6 of our economy. And that's why we've got to have a new person in the White House that will on the first day sign executive orders that will stop enactment. We've got to have a Congress that will repeal that bill and have that on the President's desk as soon as possible. That's what this election is all about, folks. It really is about the future of the country. It is about our kids, our grandchildren. So I would just ask you to join with me, to join with all your friends here tonight. Put on the bumper stickers, put out your yard signs, your barn signs, to make sure that everybody knows how important this is. This is a district that is slightly Republican, barely. It is a toss-up district. We're going to need every vote everywhere this fall, and I would just ask you to join in and help us. So with that, thank you all for what you're doing. Iris, thank you very much talk to her, help, sign up, let's go, let's win. Thank you very much.